on the channel, it's the return of the Kyle Peterson Top 5, and today we're counting down my top 5 favorite WWF Hasbro tag teams of all time.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5, a Thursday tradition here on the channel. As every single Thursday, we're starting at number 5, working our way to number 1, and we're counting down everything under the sun, primarily wrestling figures, but you guys know we're going to dabble eventually. There's only so many top 5 lists that you can do, and of course, we're getting dangerously close as of filming this. We're getting dangerously close to another edition of the top 10, so stay tuned for that very, very soon. And as always, I ask you guys out there to put your list in the comments down below and put them in order. That is the fun part. And today, we're talking WWF Hasbros for somebody of my age bracket, and maybe your age bracket as well. An iconic toy line. So many memories as a child, playing with my Hasbros, playing with my LJNs. I always say it on this channel. You guys have heard it before. I'm a broken record, but I'm going to say it again. I'm of the age where I got to enjoy playing with LJNs, and I got to enjoy playing with my Hasbros, two of the greatest wrestling figure lines of all time for many people out there, even some of the younger viewers out there as well. But today we're counting down the Hasbro tag teams. Love tag team wrestling, still love tag team wrestling, but of course the 80s truly was the glory era for tag team wrestling. You had the NWA with the Midnight Express, the Road Warriors. I mean, you had the Fantastics, the Steiner Brothers, Doom. I mean, Skyscrapers. We can go on all day. You had the Rockers. You had Demolition. You had the Legion of Doom later on. You had the Natural Disasters. So many cool tag teams throughout the years. And of course, Hasbro brought us a lot of those classic tag teams. And that's exactly what we're going to count down today. So without further ado, let's kick it off at number 5. All right, we kick off the top 5 Hasbro tag teams of all time at number 5. And number 5 is an interesting one. And I've told this story before, but it's probably going to be new for a lot of you guys. At number 5, we're going to kick it off with the Nasty Boys. Yes, Jerry Sags, Brian Knobbs, the Nasty Boys. Now, this possibly could have been a lot higher on my list, but as a kid, no internet, no place to check out news. You just went to the store. You went to Toys R Us every single Friday night, and you were jazzed up. You were hyped up saying, what is going to be new? What am I going to see? And it was a golden era for wrestling figures, and you never knew what new Hasbros would be on the shelf. Well, one day, of course, we get there, and there's new stuff, and I look at the back, and that's what I first did. Whenever I'd see somebody new, I'd flip it around. Who else is in the set? Who else is in the series? And I distinctly remember seeing the Nasty Boys. And I'm like, all right, the Nasty Boys, another tag team. I'm all excited. I'm in. I was not the biggest Nasty Boys fan, but I did follow them all the way back as a little kid in the AWA, so I definitely knew the Nasties. Loved them in WCW. That street fight with Cactus Jack back in the day, amazing match. So I was happy. I was happy to get them into my Fig Fed, into my playing days. You know they'd have a hot run to the tag team titles in Kyle's playing days. But guess what? They weren't there. I said, okay, well, I'll find them at Target. I'll find them at Walmart. I'll find them at Toys R Us on the next time. Kept going back. And my dad and I religiously went to toy stores. We did. We always did. He was looking for stuff. I was looking for everything under the sun, basically. It was a lot of fun times. But lo and behold, all my journeys, for however long it was that these were being shipped to retailers, I never came across the Nasty Boys. Now, Kyle's childhood mind said, well, I remember that Greg the Hammer Valentine advertisement. I never saw that in stores. Never found it, never saw it. I'm guessing it just didn't exist. And that's where my brain went. So then I said, well, that Greg Valentine didn't exist. The Nasty Boys didn't exist. Well, guess what? The internet comes to me in 1996, and Kyle's just absolutely shocked. First off, there's a green card series. Never even knew they existed. Secondly, the Nasty Boys was a real thing. People actually had the Nasty Boys. I couldn't believe it because a lot of my friends collected these at the time. None of them had the Nasty Boys. And I don't know what it was about my area, but I just think Nasty Boys never came here. That's the only thing I can figure out. And then all these years later, of course, I ended up swooping up those Nasty Boys in like 1997 or whatever it was. I was so excited to have them. And I'm excited to have them still to this day. fabulous, fabulous playability features. We all know some of the Hasbro's better than others. Ric Flair looking directly at you, but these two, especially Jerry Sags, but Knobs is no slouch either. Both amazing playability figures. This would probably be higher on my list if I had these as a kid, as if I got to enjoy my playing days with these as a kid, because playability is amazing on both of these. These would be great to play with, feuds with, all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, never got a chance to. Had to get these when I was a late teenager after discovering the internet and eBay. But an amazing story for me, and one I'll never forget. But for me, just because I didn't have them as a kid, that's why they're probably so high on my list. But still, a strong run here in the top 5. At number 5 is the Nasty Boys. All right, we're at the number 4 spot, and the number 4 tag team in this top 5 countdown goes to Typhoon, it goes to Earthquake, it goes to the Natural Disasters. An amazing pack right here. Once again, love tag teams. We all knew about Earthquake and his solo run against trying to end Hulkamania, coming out of the crowd against the Ultimate Warrior. Of course, Typhoon, the former Tugboat. Putting these two together, I really did feel like rejuvenated their careers. I took them very seriously as a kid. Big dudes, and putting a team together with Jimmy Hart as a manager, what could go wrong? And nothing did. They went all the way to the tag team titles, as we all know, but very cool to put into the Hasbro days. As I don't know about you guys, if you're of my age bracket, you played with your Hasbros, there was something fun about bigger figures. And of course, Yokozuna came much later, but big figures to be able to fight Hulkamania, fight the Ultimate Warrior. I took these guys very seriously in my playing days, and I absolutely love these. And once again, story time. I remember the day buying these at Toys R Us. I remember I went to Toys R Us. They were there along with the rest of their set, and I had no money. I'm a kid, and hey, you gotta do your chores, gotta get this kind of stuff. I think my dad let me buy one of them. I can't remember. I feel like I bought the Mountie that day, but I could be wrong. But I remember wanting these bad. I said, okay, Kyle, you're always thinking. You're always trying to figure out a plan to win. What are you going to do? And I remember looking at my metal tapes and stuff, and I remember I had a buddy, and he wanted some of my heavy metal tapes. So I sold him some of my tapes. Yes, cassette tapes back in the day of some heavy metal albums, bands, of course. And I can't remember who exactly I tried. I felt like Megadeth was in there, and I remember it was tough to let go, but of course, you could duplicate the tapes, and I did that, so I at least had a copy. But I remember trading him for those. So I got money for him. Immediately, Dad, I got money. And my memory says my dad didn't say, Kyle, how did you come up with like $50 just like that? What's going on here? And he never asked that question. So I don't know what that says about my dad. Dad, looking at you, I'm sure you're watching. But I did it. But I know my dad will remember this part of the story. So we got home, bought all these. Kyle's living the dream. He's got new people in his Fed. He's got the pay-per-views going down. And my dad got a call, and it was, of course, my buddy's mom saying, hey, these tapes have cuss words on it, parental advisory stickers. He can't be, my boy can't be listening to these things. We need the money back. So one of those things. I mean, come on. You know, Mom, take your lumps. Your kid made a bad decision, apparently. Who's to say who the fool is here? And I believe we had to give the money back, but my dad, being the dad he is, he said, whatever, here's the money, and then let me keep these. So I ended up winning in the end one way or the other, but man, I'd be so embarrassed. And I believe I gave my buddy a real hard time. I should call him up and remind him of this story right now, because I've been friends with him since 2nd grade, so it's been a long time. But there it is, number 4, Natural Disasters. All right, we're at the halfway spot of the countdown. We're at number 3. Do you got your list together? Make sure you put it in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. And while you're here, subscribe to the channel. Why wouldn't you? All right, number 3, one of, if not the greatest tag teams of all time. Very arguable. A lot of people could put them there, and I couldn't really argue against you, because this is one of my favorite tag teams of all time. And they are on the top of a lot of people's want list for Mattel Elites. San Diego Comic-Con, as I'm filming this, is about a week away, but it should be very soon. It could be actually the same day as this video drops. Anyways, if they do announce the Steiner Brothers, just remember this video was filmed before that, so pro tip right there. But of course, the Steiner Brothers coming in at number 3. Let me tell you a story about 2 brothers named Rick and Scott. You may have heard of them. But the Steiner Brothers, of course, old school NWA, WCW, that's where they stole my heart and never let go like a young Rio. They went to the WWF, they went to ECW, they went to Japan, they went back to WCW, they broke up, they've been around. we know the Steiners' history, but absolutely love the Steiners. As a kid, they changed wrestling forever. The Frankensteiner, some of the power moves, the double team moves, the top rope Frankensteiner, the bulldog off the top. There's something a kid like me absolutely loves, and I've always loved the hard-hitting style of wrestling, especially the old school All Japan, as you know, and even a little New Japan. Steiners going over to New Japan. Just tough, tough dudes, and great as a tag team. Just something special about the Steiners. And that, of course, parlayed into a kid who's playing with this Hasbro's. You know these guys came in night one. They won the tag team titles. They were all in. That's what was happening with the Steiner Brothers. And these two still hold up. I talked a lot about the Nasty Boys, how great those figures were for playability-wise. Same thing with Rick and Scott. Beautiful playability on these two. Absolutely love them. No issues with these. Just an amazing, amazing set, and I was so happy to have back in the day as a little kid. So at number 3, Rick and Scott, the Steiner Brothers. All right, we've come to the number 2 spot in our countdown, and I'm guessing a lot of longtime viewers probably know 1 and 2 where they're going, but I'm going to explain myself like all these other ones here. But coming in at number 2, we got Axe, we got Smash, we got Demolition. Of course, Demolition is here. You've got to have Axe, you've got to have Smash. Now, I got Axe and Smash here, but of course, I'm going to have a little asterisk here. You got another Smash, you got another Crush. So we got to talk about this a little bit. Of course, Series 1 had Axe and Smash separately before the tag team was a tag team thing, I guess, in the Hasbro line. You knew I was all in. I was getting Warrior. I was getting Axe and Smash. Those were my most wanted. Brothers in paint, as we always say. You know, I love face paint, but I love Demolition. I absolutely loved Demolition as a child. Very happy to have them enter the fray, and it was always frustrating for younger Kyle to not have a Smash in the LJN days. So the wrong was righted right here. I finally had it, had Axe and Smash. Well then, lo and behold, what happens? We get the tag team series. I remember rolling up to a Toys R Us one day, and there is Smash, and there is Crush. And I'm like, holy cow, business just picked up. We got another member of Demolition, and I had to buy the pack, of course, to get Crush. The beautiful thing, of course, was the helmets that came along with them. But Smash was a little bit frustrating because guess what? I already had Smash. Didn't need another Smash. So a little bit of trickery on the old Hasbro days. And we see a lot of that trickery right now with getting the most out of your molds. Well, they got most out of their molds real early with a direct re-release. But that being said, there's always controversy with people. And do you have a complete Hasbro collection if you don't have 2 Smashes? If you don't have 2 Tatankas? Not exactly sure. I guess anybody is right once again in that argument. To me, you have to have 2 Smashes. You don't have to have 2 Tatankas. And to me, it's because 1 Smash came with no helmet, the original. The 2-pack came with a helmet. So you have to have 1 displayed with the helmet, 1 displayed without. That's just my collector mind. Yours might be different. Let me know in the comments down below. But of course, I do have an extra helmet here for Axe. Back in the day when these were much cheaper, I could swoop in, I could get another one with a helmet. It was no big deal. Nowadays, pretty expensive for the helmets, as we all know. But I display Axe, Smash, and Crush with the helmets on, and then this Smash has no helmet. That's how I do it. You can do it how you want. But once again, talk about playability features. Never had an issue with any of these playability features here. Of course, Axe, almost similar to Hulk Hogan Series 1, a little bit similar, but always liked this one. Always felt he could do his finisher with the elbow off the middle rope, of course. Smash, one of the all-time great playability figures in Hasbro, at least for me. He actually did win the title in my playing days back in the day. It was early on when there wasn't a lot of figures in the set yet, but he did. He can say he was Kyle Peterson's world champion for a little bit. Of course, Crush, one of the patented great poses of Hasbro. Always happy to have 3 members of Demolition. A lot of matches against LOD and the Ultimate Warrior in Kyle's playing days. Absolutely love everything about Demolition. I've talked about it before on the channel, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again. But coming in at number 2 of my top 5 Hasbro tag teams of all time, Demolition. All right, let's get down to it. Let's get down to the number 1 spot. But before then, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. You made it this far, you might as well. It always helps the channel to give it the old thumbs up, of course. And don't forget to leave a comment down below with your top 5 Hasbro tag teams. So without further ado, let's take a look at the number 1. Who is it? You guys probably already know where I'm going. We're going to Hawk. We're going to Animal. We're going to the LOD, the Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. Either or works, but Legion of Doom technically. Beautiful red and black attack here. When they came into the WWF, it was a game changer. One of the most exciting debuts I ever had in all my wrestling fandom. Love the LOD, the greatest tag team of all time. Yes, they're not the Midnight Express, but powerful. The Road Warrior pop, as they say, the face paint, the hoopla, everything that is involved with them. Just absolutely something special, something iconic will always be for me. Absolutely love these figures. These were day one purchases. I remember seeing these on the shelf and just could not believe my eyes. I was finally getting the LOD. Such an exciting time to be a little kid. Now, there's a lot of people that hate these figures, and it's funny, much until like 5 years ago when I first heard people talking about, I like the LOD, but I hate the shoulder pads being on here. That never even crossed my mind as something bad. I never thought about it. I used them just like traditional wrestlers. I didn't say, oh, these are on here, he's using his spikes, any of that kind of stuff. I guess when you're little, you can just suspend disbelief, and that's what I did, is this never affected me. Same thing with Ted DiBiase in a suit, never bothered me. Roddy Piper in the kilt and his shirt, never bothered me. I never even thought about it until I've seen feedback in Facebook groups and stuff where people complain about that. I don't know, maybe I just, I don't know what the deal was, but it never ever bothered me. I could see it all these years later, maybe somebody being disappointed, but I think when you're young, you just don't care. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And I had so many hours of fun with these guys. I talked about Demolition, having a match with a Demolition against the LOD and Warrior. A lot of fun stuff recreated in my playing days with this LOD, and this one was a true game changer to the Hasbro line for me. Just absolutely fabulous, absolutely loved it. So I'm here for this all day long, and that's why the Road Warriors Legion of Doom, #1 on my top 5 list. So there it is. You guys in the comments, let me know your top 5 list. And then, of course, check out the Patreon. Yes, the Patreon, your best way to support the channel. But you get this video much earlier. You get exclusive content. You get bonus content. You get monthly giveaways over on the Patreon. So check that out. SirPaul64 is where you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. So for the top 5 Hasbro WWF figures of all time in the tag team realm, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.